Live from that Lil Nas X video that made Lil Boosie have an aneurysm, this is Nobody Asked Shawn, the reigning defending undefeated undisputed most secret podcast on God's least favorite planet. Hosted by me, the Diamond Boy, Chico Diamani, the Thin Black Duke, Shy Halud, Shawnee Paper Towels, the Shogun's Decapitator, the Dunce Who Was Promised, Anonymous Coattails, International Heartthrob, heir to the Morris Temple Profession, and of course, the first Jamaican in the Kentucky Derby. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, it is with a heavy heart that I regrettably inform you that I'm back. The world has gotten so much worse since the last time we spoke, and so is my sense of morale. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do anything anymore. Welcome back to hell. Before I get into the main thing I want to talk about this week, I want to talk about something huge, monumental that happened this week. Albert Pujols, first baseman and designated hitter for the St. Louis Cardinals, hit his 700th home run this week. It was it cannot be overstated how monumental an achievement that is. He might be the last guy to ever accomplish this. It's a really big deal. And I don't even watch baseball. Baseball sucks for the most part. But watching that shit kind of made me misty-eyed. Like seeing him in pursuit of 700, you know what I mean? It was coming down towards the end of the season, and he was in the 690s, and it was becoming a real thing. It was like the movie Mr. 3000 starring Bernie Mac. Great movie. Not great movie. It's a good movie. Satisfying, entertaining movie. But it was yo, is he going to do this shit? He did it. And it's crazy because, it's not that nobody's talking about it, but nobody's talking about it the way that they should. There was a time if somebody did something that incredible in sports, it would be all anyone talk about on the streets. The newsboys would run up to you and be like, Extreme, read all about it. Albert Pujols hit 700 home runs. You'd be hanging out in a malt shop with your pals, and someone would run in breathless quick, turn on the radio. Albert Pujols is up at bat. And everyone would gather around the radio and they listen to the broadcast. And when he'd hit the home run, everyone in the malt shop would cheer and gather around and jump in joy. And some man would pick up a woman he doesn't know and twirl her around and plant a big fat kiss on her lips. But now we digest moments like this in under an hour on social media. All the newsboys are dead and the newspapers. There are no more malt shops. And also, we have collectively decided as a society that picking up a strange woman you don't know, twirling around in a circle and planting a fat kiss on her lips is sexual assault. And it shouldn't be done, no matter how cool it looks in the movies. But we're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about Albert Pujols. But we are here to talk about things that shouldn't be done in a sports environment, namely having sex with one of your subordinates. That's right. We're talking about Ime Udoka, head coach, or soon-to-be former head coach of the Boston Celtics, because they should just fire him. But we'll get into that later. Who this past week was suspended for a year for having an inappropriate sexual relationship with a female staffer of the Celtics, and people lost their minds about this. This was a banner week for the concept of whataboutism. And if you don't know what whataboutism, it's pretty straightforward. It's just exactly what it sounds like. It's when somebody says something, it's a bunch of, well, what about, and it was, this week was massive for this. First thing that happens, the allegations come out. First instance of whataboutism, how come we're talking about Ime Udoka and not Brett Favre? We are talking about Brett Favre. A lot of people were talking about Brett Favre. Brett Favre was a pretty big story. I'm not even going to pretend that Brett Favre shouldn't have been a bigger story. Actually, the biggest story, shout out to Judd Nikki on Twitter. She pointed this out. The bigger story should not even be that Brett Favre was stealing funds from the Mississippi government to use for his own gain and to create a volleyball stadium for his daughter who went to a school in Mississippi. We should be focused on the government agents who were participating in this scheme with him. It was these are government officials who would do Brett Favre is a scumbag. And this pains me to say this because over the years, Brett Favre, who was once my favorite quarterback in the NFL, has steadily become a bigger and bigger piece of shit. He's garbage. This is Brett Favre is not absolved of any crimes. That nigga is a piece of shit. The bigger pieces of shit are the people that were voted for into the positions that gave him the money. They knew what he was up to. That shit is awful. But anyway, the point is, niggas was talking about Brett Favre. You could argue about whether it should have been a bigger story, but niggas was talking about Brett Favre. For sure. I saw it on Undisputed. I saw it on First Take. I saw it everywhere. People were talking about Brett Favre. Second instance of whataboutism. Story comes out, and the Boston Celtics are considering a 1-year suspension for Ime Udoka. And the first thing everyone on Twitter said was, how they going to suspend Ime Udoka for 1 year for a consensual relationship, but Deshaun Watson only got 11 games for sexual misconduct with the masseuses on it. It's like, you do realize that, like, Deshaun Watson does not play for the Celtics. Deshaun Watson does not play in the NBA. Deshaun Watson plays in a completely different league. Like what are we talking about? Like, you can't compare how one league and one team handled their suspension of their player versus a completely different league and a completely different team handling their suspension of another player. And it wasn't so much that, like, people were saying, like, oh, Deshaun Watson should have gotten a bigger suspension. They were saying that Ime Udoka should have gotten a smaller suspension, which is insane because here's where, like, the y'all niggas got this story fucked up, right? Everyone's like, oh, somebody had a Twitter tweet, which was actually pretty funny, but niggas was like, how you gonna suspend a nigga for getting pussy? Which in those terms does sound harsh, but they didn't suspend him for getting pussy. They suspended him for getting Celtics pussy, which he shouldn't have done because he is the head coach of the Celtics. Like that's the thing that people don't get. Like, everyone's like saying that this is an inappropriate suspension, and it's like, this nigga was having sex with a subordinate. Like, that's against the rules. Like, they didn't suspend him for having sex. They suspended him for breaking the rules. Like yo, if there was a, like, whether or not you think that should be a rule, that's up to you. But is what the rule was. Like, if they have a rule, you know when you go to a hotel and they say no smoking in the rooms or we're going to charge you a fee. If you smoke in the room, they're going to charge you a fee. You can't complain about getting the fee. Like, you're really going to charge me a fucking fee for smoking in your room? Yes, we told you that up front. Like, that we said it in print. It's on the website. We said it to you verbally as you checked into your room. Like what are you talking about? Like, this is, like, that's what the rule is. Whether or not you think the rules should be in place is a different story entirely. And also, back to my previous point, it was just a subordinate, nigga. You do not have sex with someone on your staff that, like, works for you. That's like textbook abuse of power. Like so many people have gotten in trouble for that over the years because, like, there is a power imbalance. Because, like, maybe they don't actually want to have sex with you, but they feel like their job is on the line if they don't. So don't do that. And everyone's, like, mad that at the Celtics for suspending him and not at him for doing something that would have gotten himself suspended. Like, nigga, the Celtics did not, like, Lucky the mascot did not stick Ime Udoka's dick in whoever he fucked. He did that on his own. I'm sure he prepared in advance. He might have popped the Viagra. He's a slightly older gentleman. He's not old, like old, but, like, he's like in his 30s, 40s. He's like in his 40s, right? Like, you know what I mean? That's when it starts to be an issue. That's when, you know what I mean? That's when you gotta start talking to your doctor. That's when you start getting pills in discreet packages sent to your door. But yeah, like, this nigga did it on his own, bro. Like, you don't do that. And then, like, yo, the Celtics are not absolved of any, like, wrongdoing in this situation. Like, the Celtics fucked up big time. Like, one thing that they did was, like, they sort of started leaking out details of this story without just, like, they said this is a months-long investigation. So why not just finish the investigation and then put the story out? Leaking out little details of the investigation only led to speculation for a bunch of women on the Celtics staff about who was getting fucked. And, like I know, like there are no morals in the world, like especially on social media, like, everything's about jokes and, like, retweets and shit. It was like, that shit was fucking disgusting to watch y'all niggas, like, just jump on, because nobody cares. There's the anonymity of being on Twitter, and also just, like, the collective, like, I don't even know how to put it into terms. Like, we just have decided that whenever something happens, especially when it's a celebrity, but whenever something happens, we just collectively talk about it in the most depraved terms, and no one cares about, like, who's affected by this in any way. And it shit's wild. Like they just, like, why would you be speculating, like, about who? Why would you be speculating about who the hell he had a relation? Like, that's none of anyone's business. Like, I don't know. I just feel like Ime is at fault here. And I'm not even, like, judging the nigga on moral terms. I'm judging the nigga's decision making. Nigga, you stepped into one of the best coaching jobs in the best basketball league on the planet, and you decided it was more important to have sex than to look at your playbook. Nigga, like, why the fuck wasn't you, like, in your office looking at your playbook, nigga? Goddamn. Like, Jaylen Brown was dribbling the ball off his foot for, like, 75% of the playoffs, and instead of telling that nigga to do some dribbling drills, you was over here trying to get some pussy. Like, nigga, you fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, he fucked up. Like, that was just a bad decision. Like, I don't care about, like, whether, like he cheated on Nia Long or whose wife he, like, that's their business. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm not morally judging the nigga. I'm just saying that was pretty dumb on his part. And as for the Nia Long part of it, I don't care that he cheated on Nia Long. Everybody on Twitter, man and women, he cheated on Nia Long. How the fuck you gonna cheat on Nia Long, nigga? That's Nia Long. I tell you how you cheat on Nia Long, by having sex with someone other than Nia Long. It's that simple. Like, niggas be putting, like, attractive women on this pedestal, like that, like they are above being cheated on or broken up with. Like, and I'm not saying, like, I don't recognize that there is, like, a certain type of attractiveness that people are drawn to, and you would probably want to, like, hold on to that woman longer, you know, especially because she's very coveted. Sure. But you ever see that tweet where somebody's like, why do people bash deadbeat dads? Like, maybe the baby just had bad vibes. Like, I mean, that shit is ridiculous. But we gonna apply that to this situation. Hey, maybe Nia Long had bad vibes. Maybe she voted for Trump, and that's been tearing their relationship apart for years. And, like, it finally came to a head. That's not an excuse to cheat. You know what I mean? Just break up with her. But I'm just saying is, I'm not saying there's any excuse to cheat. I'm saying ain't nobody above being cheated on. Like, maybe she's been giving money to the Russian military. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what the fuck she been on. Like, I don't think anybody's above being cheated on, except in the sense that, like, no one should get cheated on, like, in a perfect world. But, like, we're not in a perfect world, nigga. Like, anybody could get it. You know what I'm saying? Nia Long and also a Celtic staffer, they could also get. I guess I don't even know what I mean by that. Anybody could get it. Like, anybody could get Ime Udoka's penis inside them. Nia Long or a Celtic staffer. I didn't mean that. Weird thing to say. I haven't done this in a while. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, Nia Long is very attractive. Yes, we all agree she's very attractive. She's, we all want her, men and women alike. Think she's, but, like, who gives a fuck? Like, Nia Long ain't nothing special, nigga. I spit on Nia Long shoes right now if she walk by me, nigga. Fuck out of here, nigga. Yeah, I mean, like, what do Nia Long? What does she do? Like, I mean, aside from being attractive, what does she do that's, like, so special that she's, like, nigga, focus on your own life. This is why I stopped doing the podcast. I'm gonna be honest. Shit like this, I do not care about pop culture in this way. I don't want to talk about this shit. I just did this episode because this shit was weighing on my fucking brain, and it was more about the whataboutism than it is about the actual event, because you don't have to compare two things that have nothing to do with each other. Like, yo, yes, Deshaun Watson getting suspended for 11 games is kind of a weird punishment when you compare it to Ime Udoka, but it's also like that, again, these are two different organizations handling things in two different ways. And also, it's like, the nigga Deshaun Watson probably shouldn't even be in the league anymore, but that's not my fucking decision to make. And if you upset about that, then stop watching Browns games. And you probably weren't watching Browns games anyway. So what the fuck? Like, what are we doing, dog? And it's like, this shit is like invaded like every level of discourse. Like, I saw Stephen A. Smith on TV like, oh, how we talking about Ime Udoka, this black brother, but we not talking about Brett Favre. Like, nigga, you are a prominent member of the media. You talk about Brett Favre, bro, and you have already. Like, what more can be done? Like, what do you want? Like, and what is talking about Brett Favre gonna do? There's so much, like, this is why I don't want to do this podcast. This is why I stopped doing the podcast again, because, like, so much shit is about discourse in this country and not about doing shit. It's just like talking about shit. Like, how much more can we talk about anything? I don't want to talk about anything anymore. I'm so tired of talking, bro. I want to be silent and play video games and read and watch movies. I don't want to talk about, because, like, nobody's doing anything. Like, it's talking about Brett Favre fucking stealing money from the welfare fund of Mississippi, going to get Brett Favre put in prison, or the government officials who did that put in prison. No, it's not. Unless you're talking to the government about this, but you're not. You're talking to somebody else on Twitter as if that's going to have any influence on anything. Like, stop. Like, it reminds me of the ice bucket challenge. That wasn't about discourse, but it's the awareness part of it. I remember the ice bucket challenge, and niggas was just dumping buckets of water on their heads, right, for ALS. But niggas was not putting up money for ALS. It's like, yo, how much awareness can there be? I am fully aware of everything at this point. I'm so aware, bro. I'm the most aware. I am enlightened, nigga. I am like, I've reached nirvana. I am like fucking Dr. Manhattan and Watchmen. Like, I am the most enlightened nigga can imagine. Like, and we all are, bro. There's so much information. We enlightened, nigga, and nobody's doing shit. I see so many people be tweeting, oh, Mississippi don't got no water. Oh, fucking Ukraine this and fucking do something, nigga. Do something. I see every time there's a major like event, like a fucking school shooting or whatever the fuck, and they be like, call your senator. Niggas do not be calling their senators, bro. And I'm speaking for myself as well, because I've called my senator like 4 times. But like, I've told niggas to call their senator like 25 times on Twitter. So like, the ratio is not, you know what I mean? It's not where it needs to be. But my point is, I also stopped telling niggas to call their senator, because it's like, yo, I'd rather not tell niggas to call their senator if I'm not doing it either, because I know they're not going to do it also. So, like, just stop talking. Everybody stop talking. Can we stop talking? Insert the Joe Budden video where he's, like, telling niggas to stop typing.
Shut up! No, shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Damn.
Enough! Boy, I've been sick to my fucking stomach watching you imbeciles type things. Yeah. Stop typing. You niggas are stupid.
I'm so sick of this shit, man. I feel like that was long enough episode. I didn't really have too many ideas for this episode. I just wanted to come back, and I'm back now. So send me some topics to talk about. I want to talk about long form like issues. I don't want to talk about like, did you see that Cardi B? I don't care anymore. I don't want to talk about anything. I don't want to talk about any person that we all know. Like, if it's a name that we all know, like it's Drake, it's fucking Pete Davidson, I have no, because everything has already been said. I don't got nothing fresh to talk about, unless there is an issue within the discussion about that person that could, you know what I mean, go deeper into like some social ill or whatever the fuck. Because like, this shit sucks, man. Twitter, and I mean, I've been on Twitter for like, was it 2022, 2000? I've been on Twitter for like 13 years, which is kind of scary. But I love it. Like, I mean, the good parts about it, but like a lot of it sucks, and it's because of shit like this. Like, I don't want to talk about like the big, one of the big stories last week was the Adam Levine sex, and it's like that shit was not worthy of becoming that popular. Like, it was kind of funny. There was some good memes, but it's like, I don't care about this nigga. Like, why? No one should ever be, like, I feel like everybody's sex are silly. Like any time I've been in somebody's DMs, I look like a fucking fool, nigga, because that shit is just goofy. You know what I mean? Just a very concept. Like, it's like, we all goofy. Like, even the most suave nigga even the most suave motherfucker is goofy as hell in some DMs. And it's just like, the person whose DMs, if they're successful, it's just because the person they're DMing likes them enough to not care. Or it's just that their brand of goofy corniness. That shit's, I don't know, it's just dumb, man. I don't give a fuck, man. The world is over, man. Like, society has ended. We're just running out the clock here. And so I guess, and when you think about it in those terms, that's why we do this shit. That's why we talk about celebrities and a bunch of bullshit. Because, like, what else are we gonna do? You know what I mean? We just run out the clock until they set off the nuclear warheads and we all burn to a crisp. So that's the episode. Like, subscribe, share, and all that shit. You're not gonna do any of that, but I would like if you did. Yeah. Cool. As always, Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga. I will say it is fun to say that again. I miss saying that. That part's fun.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.